ass a buster. Always thinking about what he wants and just sits on his broke ass. So no, I don't. Why are you making that face? So no, I don't. Why are you making that face? No, don't want a scrub. A scrub is somebody can't get no love from me. Bringing out the person who's tired of his face. Yes?
Why are you singing Scrubs?
Because you're a scrub and you're an overweight coward who needs to get a job. So sick of hearing about G-Man. You need to get a job. So sick about hearing G-Man. Steve McRae. Everybody's just shut up already. Get a job. Get a job. Job. You need to get a job. Job. Be successful. You need to be successful. You're not successful. You're successful. Yeah. Thank you. Mic drop. I'm out.
All right, folks. Hi. How are you doing? Yeah, the bot got pissed off because y'all were abusing it, so it decided it wasn't gonna work today. So it is what it is. The bot will probably work in the next 15 minutes. So yes, that if y'all had the pleasure of catching the beginning, that was Mrs. Drag, and that was her version of Scrubs, GDC version. You can find it in Amazon, Spotify, and on whatever other music outlet that I have no idea about because I don't buy music. So there we go. All right. So I was curious as to what Mr. Deroy had to say about our last exchange. And so while we were out, after we had gotten our lunch with Xavier, the man who doesn't exist, we went to go get some wine, some other things that go along with a wonderful, wonderful evening of being childless and off from work and whatnot. Um, I can't find any of the videos. They've miraculously disappeared. And so instead, I said, well, you know what? He did say that he was done. So I said, yeah, you know what? Some people, do that. They, rather than leave their mistakes up, they want to hide them. And I think that that's cowardly, but that's just me. There's plenty of videos for me from like 5 years ago where I'm making some gross, and I mean gross errors in me attempting to speak on philosophy, hell, even science, anything. I'll just absolutely make an ass of myself. But it's up there. It's a testament to my growth. Not everybody feels that way. Some people don't want that. And then some people are genuinely kind of ashamed at the way that they approach the topic. It happens. I understand that. But again, I feel it's a testament to growth and that people should see. I listened to about 5 minutes of this because some of us in the Discord were listening. And I said, let me drop out of the conversation. Let me go listen to this. And I actually started taking notes because I wasn't going to do one of these. I was just kind of going to do like a porch sermon, like an old school porch sermon, like I used to do. And I'd actually started writing down things, like our good friend Deroy here. And I said, why do that when I can respond to them in real time? But I have been told that I should not go on long and protracted monologues because that evidently takes away from what's being said. Sometimes I do get caught up. So if you do catch me going on and on and on and on and on and on, like Mr. Deroy here, just tag me and go hashtag let the man speak or something like that, or hashtag drag shut the fuck up. So that will let me know because sometimes I don't realize how long I've been talking. So I've not even started this video and it's already like almost 15 minutes in. And so yeah, like now. Anyway, let's get on with it, y'all. Let's get on with it.
Well, hello. This is Deroy Cruz here, your life applications officer. I tell you, this past week, I got owned.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. So somebody said. No, I turned the speed down before we went live. I turned the speed down to half of his This is half of his normal talking speed, by the way. I was curious to see how many people go like, hey, he's really slow. Yeah, it's his normal speed, but then half of that. So that was, yeah, see, there you go. I'm going to speed him up.
And humiliated as a Christian. And it was not because of them and what they understand. It was because of I allowed them to make me paranoid. I allowed them to make me
The fuck did I
step
do?
away from my confidence. Well, the confidence is there, but I allowed them to make me think and to make themselves think that I was not confident in what my position is as a Christian, in my identity as a Christian.
What?
I need to calm down. I've been praying. I've done a lot of praying this week.
You definitely need to calm down.
About.
I agree with that.
Thing. What had happened was, I'm just, I'm a YouTuber like everybody else, and I'm just strumming, and YouTube is not, I'll be going to work in a minute. YouTube is not who I am. YouTube is just like me playing PlayStation games. It's just something I do for a pastime, especially, when I get up and I get ready for work and I got a few minutes, I got nothing to do but wait here to get my bus, or, on my days off, and then when I come home from work at night, I'm not ready to go to bed yet, so I have some time. But it's not who I am. It's not my identity. These atheists who are on YouTube all the time, constantly having these chat rooms, these, what do you call them? Google Hangouts and all this garbage. Well, I'm not going to call it that garbage because I wouldn't mind having a Google Hangout. But it wouldn't be the platform.
So how many of y'all remember when I offered in 2 separate fucking videos that, hey, maybe we should have a hangout? Actually, I offered earlier in the week, I think it was Tuesday, I said, hey, how about Friday we have a hangout? And I said it again, like later on in the week, I think it might have been actually yesterday or the day before, that, hey, why don't we just have a hangout and just chat? Like I've said that in 2 separate videos, and now all of a sudden, now he's like, oh, well, maybe we should have a sit down and chat. I could have swore I said that. Yeah, it was the first one. Okay, thank you. Like, it's like, I've said that already. And now all of a sudden, it hits him. Like, now he wants to have a hangout. Oh, okay.
People. It wouldn't be to just, like, attack people. It would be to help people and to help those that are actually coming to the Google Hangout or the chat room, okay? It would be to help them, to encourage them. It wouldn't be so we could get together and laugh at somebody else. Now, the guy who I allowed to fool me into playing his game, his little atheist game with him.
Atheist game.
He would disagree with me and say, because he already said it out of his mouth, if you're on YouTube, that's what we do. Well, you know what I'm saying? But there's a fine line between what the adults do.
So now, how many of y'all, so this is actually one of the, I dropped my paper, this is one of the timestamps that I had, because Mr. Cruz has a really bad habit of misrepresenting what people actually say. So how many of y'all, I'm not even going to say what exactly I said, because I know what the fuck I said. How many of y'all remember what I was referencing when I said this is social media, this particular thing that everyone does on social media is what you do when you put ideas out there? How many of y'all remember almost, if you remember verbatim what I was referring to, please put it in the chat. But, or just in general, what was I referring to? Because it seems to be that he has indicated that all we do is go into chat rooms and just ridicule people. Now, is that what I said? Is that what I said? When you get on social media, we just get in the rooms and just ridicule people? We just go and chastise people? Is that what I said? Because I don't remember actually saying that. I remember saying, well, you know what, Mr. Cruz? When you, because the point that he was trying to make was, well, I didn't have your name in the title. Well, a lot of people don't have the people's names in the titles that they're talking to. Just like a perfect example. You're referring to me, but you don't have my name in the title. But when you get on social media and you put ideas out there, people will discuss them whether or not you're actually talking about them. It's the public square. You can review and thank you. If you put something on social media, it's public. Anyone is allowed to review and criticize. Thank you. That is what I was talking about, Mr. Cruz. That specifically is what I was referencing. Not getting in a Google Hangout and ridiculing people. Now, of course, you can do that. That is an option. But you have this really bad habit, a really bad habit of taking something that somebody said and then warping it. That's called a straw man argument, Mr. Cruz. If you are going to put yourself out here as a Christian, as a pillar, as an exemplar of moral fucking fabric, it would help if you're honest. Because you know good and goddamn well that's not what I was talking about. You know good and goddamn well what I was responding to. Okay? So there is no game being played here. Either you're going senile or you're just dishonest. One of the two. Maybe a bit of both. I don't know. But that's not what I said, Mr. Cruz. Maybe you need to go back and listen to what I actually said. Maybe that will help you. Maybe taking some more notes. Because, again, you've done this almost in every single video When I make a statement, I'm responding to something that you're saying, you take it out of the context in which I had said it. I had mentioned nothing about Google Plus Hangouts other than to offer you a conversation. That's it. That is it. The context in which I mentioned people's content on social media was for discussing and reviewing it. With your comment about people's names being mentioned in the title or people being directly addressed. That whole scenario was spawned from a comment that you had made about that. Again, maybe you just forgot and you just started just stringing together all types of stuff in the middle of your head and you just forgot so you just had to make up anything. You just say anything. It doesn't matter.
And what the kids are doing. Children do this crap. I mean, we got people doing it on Facebook all day long. And they get on Facebook, and next thing you know, they're saying things back and forth to each other, putting things on Facebook to get on each other's last nerve, and then the next thing you know, drive-by shooting, someone's getting beat up or jumped in school, you know what I'm saying? And we got this brother here, a Christian, he's so angry at what these atheists are doing to them, or doing to him, I should say, that he done got out the sledgehammer. He's like, come to Jersey. I got something for you. And I think even me and this guy, he got out the sledgehammer, I think, and I'm not going to mention names on this video because, these atheists and even some of these Christians, you mention their name, that's like mentioning one of the members of the mob, like they're going to come after you, you know what I mean? This guy's probably going to come after me anyway just because he's got nothing better to do. I repeat, this guy's probably going to come after me anyway because he has nothing better to do. But let me say.
So, Mr. Cruz, you can respond even after you said that you were done with this whole ordeal. You evidently have nothing better to do before you go to work other than to make a video about something that you find ridiculous. I'd take all the time you need in order for that to sink in, Mr. Cruz. Take all the time in the world. Matter of fact, while you're at work for the next 8 to 10 hours, take all the time you need to think about what you just said. If your issue is that people spend their time doing something you don't like doing, that's fine. That's absolutely your opinion. I don't give a shit. Today's my off day, by the way. I don't have any work or school or anything. So there is nothing else that I could be doing right now, as this is called free time. If you notice that there are certain times of the week and certain times of the day, just like you've indicated, that you do things to amuse yourself. Well, guess what? In this same, again, I'm not sure how this is, you don't understand this. Maybe you're getting old. If you occupy your time playing Xbox, playing PlayStation, that's cool. That's funny you mentioned that and talk about what kids do. But when somebody's discussing something, at least of merit, and reviewing and having some type of discourse, right, where people might gain something out of it, that's a waste of time. But you sitting in front of a PlayStation, is that time well spent, Mr. Cruz? Please make that argument for me, because I love to hear that in comparison.
In the name of Jesus, I need to calm down. And I had to take down videos. There's a big difference when you actually watch yourself in a room full of commentators. You watch yourself do your videos. It's a lot different than when you do your videos and you look at it and say, I'm not going to take that down. I'm going to go on and record it. And then you actually sit down with somebody and watch that video and they object to some things like, what did you mean when you said that? And why are you so angry? You look like you're angry. Why are you getting so loud? Why are you, you know what I mean? And you realize, like, Jesus, help me to calm down, man. And I tell you what, I let this guy get me to respond to him about what I was offending another Christian. But
wow, okay, so you saw yourself being erratic, and then people here in the comment section commenting on exactly what I was saying, and you feel foolish. Well, congratulations. You agree with everyone else now that you got bent out of shape over a god doggone YouTube video that somebody else made that you didn't have to watch. Congratulations. You got bit. That should tell you a lot about yourself, honestly. It had nothing to do with me or anybody else. You allowed you to do that. You were upset and infuriated before you turned on the camera. I didn't have anything to do with that. That was you, sir. So maybe you need to reevaluate your life, because it seems as though you don't prioritize the right things in life if a YouTube video infuriates you.
I wasn't offending or defending, I should say. I was defending that Christian as a Christian, not as a buddy of mine who, and I was defending him based on the fact that many, not just this one guy, but many atheists do this. But this guy took it personal, like him and this Christian are in a love affair or something. And like, oh, you know, like they just got divorced and I'm trying to defend a man to walk out on his wife and kids. Come on, man, like calm down. You know, I'm the...
Here comes the extended homoerotic analogy again, folks. I wonder how long it took him to think of this one.
Defending the brother because he's my brother in the Lord. It has nothing to do with you. But he took it personal because, and I didn't mention the guy's name or anything, because I didn't even know the guy until he dragged me into his Google Hangout or whatever that type of technology he uses to do the thing. But anyway.
The type of technology, all I'm doing is playing your video. I didn't drag you into anything. Hold on for a second. So you, I reached through the internet and I grabbed him and I pulled him into cyberspace and just put him I put you in a box, Mr. Cruz. I got you, Mr. Cruz. Like, come on. I'm literally playing what you put on the internet. I'm sorry. Like, are you kidding me? Come on. Like, I don't, how do I even address that? I don't even know what to fucking say. Like, are you serious? No one told you to come on my channel and comment. No one told you to acknowledge my existence. No one told you to make a response video. You did that, Mr. Cruz. You did that. Like, no one tricked you in anything. Maybe you just have, I don't know, maybe you're just bored. Maybe you just felt like interacting with someone and got in over your head. I don't know. But I can sit here and speculate all day with no evidence because that's what people do. Like, come on. Like, just you really need to pull your head out of your ass. You realize how foolish you looked in some of the video. Like the second one where you were pretending to be me, that was great. Everyone loved that. But then you got heated the very next video, and then that's when, of course, in the you know, whole adopting slavery thing and the Crusades is cool and all this other kind of crazy shit you were saying, then you showed your ass. And you realize now, when people commenting going, wow, there's something really wrong with them. And then you got to see that yourself. Man, how do you think everyone else feels?
Scriptures, about 3 of them, to help me get to my point. You have to really be careful when you deal with the world. You can't talk to the world about how you really feel. You know, just like I love my daughter so much and I wish that she was walking with Jesus and I wish she was spending more time with me. But you can't say nothing about your daughter, your wife, or your best friend or anything because they'll call you gay. They'll call you a child molester. They'll call you a conspiracy.
No, Mr. Cruz. So if you don't want people referring to your interesting relationship with your maybe not estranged daughter, I don't know at this point because it sounds like y'all may be estranged. I don't know. Then don't bring it up. Like that's perfectly fine. If you say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about my daughter. I'd rather not talk about her. That's fine with me. I'm cool with that. But don't sit here and make like 5-minute long like homoerotic analogies and then get upset when people go, man, you sure love talking about 2 fucking dudes fucking. Like, come on now. Don't play the martyr now that you've opened that door. Like, it's what is this, Danae? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my gay viewers, are y'all getting a gay vibe off of him? I don't know. But I don't know too many straight dudes to talk this much about gay sex. That's all I pointed out. I don't know too many straight dudes who go into detail about some really weird romantic affair they have with another guy and in relation to their estranged relationship as 2 just guys, just 2 regular ass dudes. And, you know, I don't know. Like, just come on. Just you go out of your way to make things really super gay. And even when I throw you a bone and go, hey, Mr. Cruz, maybe we should just discuss, I don't know, the romantic relationship and not necessarily the physical. Well, it's not about that. It's about them having sex. It's like you force the conversation back to gay sex. I don't know what to conclude, Mr. Cruz. Like, come on. You got to work with me here. If I'm moving the conversation away from sex and you bring it right back and you start talking about some dude impregnating another dude and like, come on. Maybe around the circles that you run with, straight dudes talk about that kind of stuff. I've not known too many straight dudes to say some stuff like that and repeat it too. That's what kills me because you went back to it just now. But everyone who heard your explanation as to how people turn gay about this intervention that you need by good parents in order to not be gay, mixed with the catalyst that is marijuana, and hear you draw parallels to your own life because you think that your daughter went down this path and I guess didn't receive this intervention. Like, the people match up what you say and look at it and go, man, because the only reason Mr. Cruz isn't gay is because someone told him not to be gay. That's the conclusion most of us draw from that. But then it's weird because he keeps projecting this really gay vibe because he wants to keep talking about gay shit. If all you got to talk about is booty sex with men, then guess what? People gonna draw conclusions.
Conspiracy theorists or something, they'll come after you, and they have no conscience about it. If you say, "Oh, really? You gonna talk about my daughter like that? Wait a minute. I'm gay now." You know what I'm saying? The next thing they'll do is say, "Well," and they'll make excuses for it. "Hold up, dude, you just committed a huge felon." Well, they're not gonna say it. They're not gonna look at it like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, let me read these. 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verses 10 and 16. New King James Version, my version. But God has revealed them to us through His Spirit. I hope I got the whole verse there. Yeah, I hope I got the whole verse there. Something missing? Okay. All right, well. But God has revealed them to us through His Spirit, for the Spirit searches all things. Yes, the deep things of God. Right off, atheists don't believe in the existence of God, but the Bible explains to us that His Holy Spirit is here on the earth, and it is what indwells believers to preach the gospel and to win lost souls for Christ. But they don't believe in that, so we can't have that conversation. The Spirit searches all things. Yes, the deep things of God. For what man knows the things of man except the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, no one knows the things of God except the Spirit of God. So you think you understand why God killed, why God allowed slavery, so to speak, why God did this, why God did that. You think you know as a human. Again, for what man knows the things of a man except the spirit of the man which is in him? Just like you don't know me, you don't know God. You might know me because I'm human. You might know me in part because I'm human. But this so-called God that does not exist, like these atheists say, well, even if God does exist, he's a maniac, he's a monster or whatever. You don't know it like that. You don't know him like that. He's not a man, he's not a human, so you don't know. And I know this all sounds like science fiction, but to us, it's life. It is what we have been born again. It is who we are. It is our identity, this stuff that I'm talking about here. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God. This is what I try to explain on this guy's video, but we can't have these conversations because right away, let's get real, like everybody who hates Christians, they feel that
Hate Christians.
It's all about condemnation.
Notice he went from disagreeing to hate. That's interesting. I keep asking you for these sources, Mr. Cruz, on where I say these things, and you've yet to get back to me on when I've said anything like that. So again, I'll ask you once again, I know you won't respond, when have I said that I hate Christians exactly? When have I indicated that?
I'm going through the same condemnation, Bella. I'm going through the same condemnation. Okay? If it's wrong for you because it's wrong for me, it's wrong for me because it's wrong for you. It's not about, oh, we're over here and we think that all these other people are over here, and I said some things that I shouldn't have said even though they're true. I shouldn't have said that because you don't have the mind of God, you don't have the mind of the Spirit to understand that, and I'll be getting into that in a second too. Now we receive not the spirit of the world, and I explained that very clearly to this guy. He does not care. But the Spirit...
I don't know what that means. It's not that I don't care. It's like, you tell... Okay, I am filled with the ghost of an ancient Viking. And this ancient Viking allows me to pillage and do all types of nefarious things. So you better fear my Viking spirit that's inside of me. Does that tell you anything about me? Does that really compel you to look at me different? Maybe it should. But like what does that actually mean to me? Like, I don't know. So if you want to elaborate on how that actually makes you different, then cool. Let's show me. Do you have can you phase through things? Do you have access to knowledge no one else does that you can demonstrate? That's what I care about. You can claim you have a dragon in your garage. Well, cool. Is it Puff the Magic Dragon? Do you have a scale from it? I don't know. These tales don't mean much to me, but I'm willing to discuss them with you. You just saying things is not any different than anybody. It's not different than Alex Jones saying that there's lizard people in Congress.
Who is from God, that we might know that we might know the things that have been freely given to us by God. God has given us of his spirit. He's giving us a mind that is spiritual. Okay? To not have God in your life is to live life with an artificial mind. Everything that you think is given to you is handed down to you. Even these atheists, their attitude towards God is handed down to them. Like I try to tell this man, this all started within the last 20, 30 years. Because 20, 30 years ago, people respected the Christians are the holy people. They are trying to live for God. But what do we have today? Oh, if you say the word Christian, well, let's go in the background here. Let's redefine print. Let's go behind all this and see and check his records out. Let's check out his YouTube channel. Let's see if he's ever been gay before. Let's see if he's got a daughter that's gay. Let's see how many divorces he's had. Okay? Let's go look at all this to see if this man is anything but an idiot. Who needs, and I've been called, 4 videos going back and forth with this dude, which again, he's talking to a video. I'm not there to defend myself. He's talking to my video.
Come on, dude. I've offered you three at least, I want to say 3 times. I would say 2. At least 2 separate times to have a one-on-one. I don't know what you're listening to. And I have to ask my chat just to make sure I'm not going crazy for the people who've been watching. Have I not offered to talk to this dude on like face-to-face, mano-a-mano, one-on-one? Like, come on. I have actually offered, and look here, listen. Look here. I offered to have you in a hangout in 2 separate videos. I know I left him a comment like that before. So, okay, I did offer. Thank you. I'm not going crazy. So, what are you going crazy about now?
Because I don't have the technology that he has to actually defend myself. Okay? But he's got some good super technology there. And he seems to think that, and he's not the only one that does it. There's dozens of atheists on YouTube who just randomly they don't even know what the video is about. But because it's a Christian video, whether it's about heaven, like I watched a video the other day where this guy, he did this video about heaven. Okay? And these 2 atheists took it onto their channel and they went through the whole video criticizing this man. And all they did was laugh. I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch the whole thing because they were just so much making comical statements, like trying to be funny about it when nothing's funny. I'm trying to understand what the guy's talking about, but you're just laughing because you think you... Okay,
so here's the thing, Mr. Cruz. And again, maybe it's because of your age. Maybe you're just not familiar. Oh, that's a funny screenshot. I'm not doing this on purpose, folks. So, yes, people review other people's content. I actually made a video today that you could do the same exact thing. This technology that you keep talking about is free. All you have to do is, hey, Dragnauct, can you tell me what program you're using so I can learn how to do this and I review? I have no problem telling you. Hell, I'd even help you set it up. All you have to do is ask. But don't sit here and be upset because people review other people's stuff. Maybe you weren't around when YouTube first came out where you could put response videos directly underneath other people's videos. That's what this platform is for, to actually respond and interact with people. So don't be surprised. If you don't want to hear commentary, then don't listen to commentary videos. Go watch the original one. Like, it's not usually, and I need to be better about this. Well, it's kind of hard when I do review videos and y'all delete the shit. Like, most folks who are better than me, put the original video in the description. Most folks do that. Most people do that. But some of you guys I deal with, y'all get so ashamed because I hand you your ass or I don't know what. You just do. And so y'all delete the video, so there's no point in me doing that. But if you don't want to listen to commentary videos, then don't listen to commentary videos. Listen to the original. I don't know. I don't know. That's the most popular atheist review. The way they reviewed it is narcissistic, so don't be surprised a lot of atheist dudes. I mean, if they're being assholes to him, they're being assholes to him. I back them up, at least the ones. Oh, okay, thank you, Sabelle. Like, if they're being assholes, then don't watch it. Some atheists just do review videos and they're just laughing. They're not actually adding anything to it. They're just trying to be funny for an audience. I absolutely agree with you. But I try to make sure that I offer at least some input, especially when I'm being misrepresented. That especially then. So if he's upset, go watch the original video. Don't watch the review. It's literally that simple.
I'm a Christian, and I don't understand what the guy's talking about. I'm like, play the tape, quit like laughing and joking so much. Listen to the tape so I can see what the guy's talking about. And he's making. And I'm like, where were these jokes coming? Where's the jokes coming from? The guy didn't. The guy said one word. Click. Oh, let me laugh about that. I mean, you know. Don't let these people get to you. Don't let them get to you. Because they are mockers or mockerers. They are scorners of the truth. Okay, clouds without water. Okay, as the Bible says, they are truly the Gentiles. They are, but we need to calm down and stand our ground. Calm down and stand our ground. Don't let these people flip the tables on us, which this week I was owned and humiliated. And I'll never let myself fall into that. They're going to say I'm owned and humiliated anyway because I'm a Christian and they are supposedly can't.
Oh my God, victim.
But when you know that you can perceive that you were owned and humiliated based on you saying things in a way where people would get it wrong, that's different. These things we also speak not in words which man's wisdom teaches. This guy wants to tell me about his college degree and all this stuff. Dude, if it was about a college degree, I would not even put this on YouTube unless I was doing it from a college classroom. It ain't got nothing to do with your college degree. Okay?
I could have swore that I'd mentioned actually going out and trying to learn something instead of watching YouTube videos. And I mentioned the fact that I am actually speaking and doing at the same time. Again, if you want to mention things that I say, please at least make an attempt to do it in context. I didn't say that you couldn't talk to me because you don't have a college degree or it's all about college degree. I made sure that I mentioned because I knew you were going to do this. Remember that other piece of that I mentioned? Because I referenced you and your, I guess, lack of knowledge on LGBTQA, whatever issues, that you could learn about it in a formal setting like a university, or you could go up and talk to organizations, or just go talk to random people and be educated. I specifically mentioned that a few times because I knew you were going to misrepresent me. But it's interesting here that that's what it was all about. And I never said that I had an actual degree, the one that I'm seeking now. I do have a degree, but it wasn't pertinent to what I was mentioning because we were talking about science at the time. So that's very interesting. We're also pigs in the wilderness. Oh yeah, We're swans too. You can't cast your pearls before the swans.
The fact of evolution and science is that the scientists and the evolutionists clearly are teaching things that they cannot prove.
So let me see some citations on that, Mr. Cruz, because something tells me you ain't stepped foot on a college campus other than to clean it.
Just can't prove it. You cannot prove that there is no God. You cannot prove that homosexuality is natural. You cannot prove transgenderism is natural. You cannot prove that animals are naturally gay. You cannot prove this stuff. It's totally preposterous. It's totally ghetto.
It's ghetto.
Oh my God. The last video I did with this guy, I watched a transgender video. And I was just totally, excuse my French, pissed. And I lost it. I
was watching them transgenders and I got pissed. She was not blending her makeup. She wasn't swinging right. She was going down that alleyway like she was somebody. And she was toe up from the flow up.
Lost it. I didn't know I lost it until I replayed the video. Like, oh God, maybe I should take it down before I send it to him. But because he wants to go on like this, I'll send it to him. But we can't have these conversations.
Look, I'll be willing to give him a redo. I don't offer this often. If he wants me to take that video down that I did a review of, if he wants to redo it, I will review the redo video if he wants to. But he actually open up his damn mouth and say something. And there's many ways to get in contact with me. You can reach out. So let me know if you want to actually do a redo, and I will grant you that. But you got to be a big enough man to say that.
You know what? Nobody's going to argue with me about God. That's why my faith with God is a self-defense issue. You're not going to argue with me, okay?
Self-defense issue?
I should have, ignored the guy.
You should have.
And I just should have ignored the guy instead of letting him sucker me into trying to respond to him. What I thought should have been a dialogue with him turned into me screaming into the camera.
So whose problem is that, Mr. Cruz? Whose problem is that? Who forced you to do that, Mr. Cruz? Did I jump through the computer and force you? Did I hold a gun to your head, Mr. Cruz? As an adult, grown-ass man, whose problem is that? That you can't control yourself? Did I raise you, Mr. Cruz? Did I jump through time and become your father and raise you? Did I become your mother sometime and raise you and force you to do something you didn't want to do? So how is that anybody else's problem other than yours? Because you like to put me in the middle of that. And anybody can, there's plenty of people who can review the stuff on my YouTube channel. I can choose whether or not I want to even entertain it. At any given time, I'm not forced to. Nobody is. But you wanted to because you like the attention. Admit it. You like the fucking attention because you even admitted it in your first video. You may not have realized that you made reference to liking that attention, but you did. And then it got to your head. That attention, seeing people respond to you and realizing that you made an ass of yourself. But no one forced you to, Mr. Cruz. Maybe if you took some responsibility as a grown man, you'd realize that and stop blaming other people. But this is the problem. When homosexuality occurs in nature, definition of natural, yeah, lions, dolphins, manatees, yeah, all of those. There's a book called The Exuberance of Nature where it actually describes all the homosexual relationships that animals have. And notice I said relationships and not just sex. They actually form companionships. So, again, but you can not believe me. The book's on fucking Amazon, so.
No good. Okay, I gotta move. I got 10 minutes. These things we also speak not in words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Holy Spirit teaches. You don't believe in the Holy Spirit, atheist, so we can't have these conversations then. Comparing spiritual things with spiritual, okay? Comparing spiritual things with spiritual. That's why you can't talk about the sexual revolution, abortion, and all the feelings, the personal feelings that go on behind all these things. Because that is spiritual things with spiritual. The Spirit of God has to take down the spirit of man, the spirit of the world. But the natural man, that's us. No, that's them. The natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God. Okay? For they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them. You think you know, you don't know, dude. You don't know.
Tell me the magic.
For the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them, but we know them. I'm going to show you how. Because they were spiritually discerned. But he who is spiritual, that's us, judges all
I'm a
things.
spirit.
You say, why are you so much up on the transgender people and the gay people? You worried about who's doing what in the bedroom and blah, 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 blah. Because, but he who is spiritual judges all things. You didn't know that, did you? Neither do you care. That's fine.
No, because I don't care what people are doing in there. If they're consenting adults, why am I in their bedroom? Why not be concerned with your own? Because it was interesting. You were worried about what chicken I was making while I was doing with my wife. What exactly? Maybe if you paid attention the first time, you wouldn't have been divorced. Oops, did I say that? If you're concerned about all things, why don't you be concerned about all things in your household? So don't get mad, Mr. Cruz, when people judge you the same way that you judge other folks. Because a lot of you guys got this weird victim mentality. And I spoke about this before. You got this weird persecution. You and G-Man share that alike. Y'all are victims. Y'all are constant fucking victims. Y'all are constantly being persecuted and you're martyrs, but you can't be concerned with your own goddamn life. That's what kills me. And you get mad because you're out of control. You see yourself acting a goddamn fool. Maybe if you actually sat down and took care of yourself mentally and physically, spiritually, you'd be in a better place. Maybe you wouldn't be on the internet acting a goddamn fool. Maybe you wouldn't have been divorced. I don't know. I can drop some bombs on you. We can get personal. Because you sure like to judge other folks. You sure like to pour and peer into other people's lives. But the second somebody does it to you, you get upset. Maybe if you draw that line in the sand, maybe other people will too. I'm just saying. I ain't been divorced. I'm still in a happy marriage. It ain't perfect. But maybe I am more concerned about things going on in this household rather than what everybody else in the world's doing. Maybe that's something that you should have done. Because right now, I don't see a reason to follow behind what you're telling me. Because your life don't represent much of nothing other than something that's less than what I'm doing in life. And I'm not talking about accolades. I'm not talking about education. I'm just talking about this basic mentality that you have here. And I call it basic for a reason. You are so concerned with what this transgender is doing here, what this gay is doing there, what this indoctrination in this person relationship and all that bullshit. Maybe you should be concerned with the here and now, what's in your household. Maybe you need to be concerned with what's going on the Deroy Cruz Kool-Aid. Maybe that's what you need to be concerned with, because evidently it ain't working out for you very well, being concerned about other folks. So if you want me to drop some knowledge on you, if you want to learn some, Worry about yourself. Worry about you and yours. Start there. Before you try and Christian outward, you need to Christian inward. That's my advice to you. That's my advice. You can't even keep your own household together, but you worried about this transgender here and going and watching that. Watch some YouTube videos on how to keep a wife. Watch a YouTube video on how to talk to your daughter. Watch a YouTube video on how not to look gay on the internet. Watch a YouTube video about how to control your motherfucking self. Watch some YouTube videos about that and get your shit straight. Because you can't talk about nobody else. Yeah, that's what I love. I fucking love guys like you and G-Man and Vecco and all these other clowns. Now, it's not to say that you're a clown, but you got some fucked up mentalities that I'm going to address. Y'all love talking about what other people are doing and in their life, and y'all ain't doing shit. You don't represent the things that you speak of. Why would I ever lower myself to y'all's level? When I talk that shit, I walks that shit all day long. So quit trying to play me and other people like you actually doing something. I'm just saying. You don't represent the type of Christian that you want people to be. Once you represent that, then you come let me fucking know. Okay? Because I don't feel that. I don't see that. By your own admission, you are not that. Once you get there, come holla at me. Okay? I'm so tired. I just stopped code switch. I said, fuck it. Because I hate that bitch shit. Maybe you don't know where I'm from. I'm from Louisiana if you ain't caught on to the accent by now. So if you know anything about my people and where we from, we ain't about that bullshit at all. So if you get your feelings hurt by me speaking some real shit like a lot of people do, then come holla at me. Please come holla at me. If you are going to prescribe, sir, a course of action, I would hope that you apply it to your own life first, and the fruits of your actions become relevant instantly. Instantly. Because I don't want to hear about you being a victim. I was a victim of a natural disaster and lost everything in my goddamn life. I don't want to hear that shit. Nothing from nobody. Nothing at all. I know what loss is. I know what pain is. I'm not about that life. I'm about coming up. So maybe when you guys pull your nuts up and show me that you are about what you claim to be about, then you'll get some more respect from me. But now I don't see that. You, by your own admission, have already said that you got bent out of shape. It's not anything that I did. I didn't reach through the computer and manipulate your emotions. You did that to yourself. Just because I get real with you, don't mean you really seen the person behind the computer screen. But it ain't much different. It's not much different. Tell you that.
Have these conversations. That's the way it is, and that's the way we're going to keep doing it until we're dead. That's the way it's going to be. Bring it on, buddy. Bring the fight on. Yet he himself is rightly judged by no one. You can judge me for being wrong, but when you judge me for for the context of that Bible, you better know what the heck you're talking about, buddy. Or yeah, I am going to be screaming into the camera, and I'm just going to click. The conversation is over because I know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you sound better than me. You sound more proper than me. Okay, I threw a little bit of ebonics in there or something. It doesn't matter.
It's not ebonics.
You better know what you're talking about when I label myself as a Christian. And you have something to say, and you say, well, this is the problem with Christian people. Dude, you better know what you're talking about. Because if I had the ability to do it, the minute you said, well, this is the problem with Christians, it would have been like, click, you don't know what you're talking about. Get this guy out of here. Next!
So, interestingly enough, Mr. Cruz, I've always included this is my issue with some Christians, and I make sure that I say that because I'll mention evangelicals, fundamentalists. I'll mention them specifically. Yeah, I don't like the lanyard flag thing. That's really distasteful, and you should probably read the law sometime. But when I mention the issue I have with some of these Christians or some Christians, he seems to skip over that. And I've been pretty good about saying that. So if you're going to quote me, Mr. Cruz, quote me right, my man. Quote me right.
Who's next, please? For who has known the mind of the Lord that he may instruct him? You think you know us. You think you know God. You don't. Why don't we just all live with the fact that we agree to disagree? We live our life, you live your life. But we have the mind of Christ. 1 John 2:27. But the anointing which you have received from him abides in you. Let me explain what an anointing is. When I call myself your life applications officer, and sorry, some of the videos that I did lately that I had to take down, that is not what a life application officer is. That's a dude who's angry, didn't really pray and seek God and write down his notes or look at his Bible before he got on camera. He just got on the camera screaming because he looked at TV or something and a lot of stuff got him ticked off. But we have an anointing. We have a gift. We've been given a gift.
So your role as a life applications officer wasn't applicable in the last 3 videos. That's interesting because you sure as hell tried to convince us of that. But that's okay. I'm not sure why. So why would you introduce yourself as a life applications officer if that's not the that's like you go into a pizzeria and someone greets you as a waiter and then turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not here to wait tables." Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, I don't. Am I thinking too deep into that? Because why would you open up? That's maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just being obtuse. Mr. Crew, I'm not judging you, by the way, based on the fact that you don't code switch. That's not, believe it or not, I find country accents funny as somebody who is country, but that's the extent of that. So I find it hilarious that for whatever reason you've got it in your head that because we disagree on topics that you can't discuss them. That's really interesting. I'm not sure how people have discussions when they don't disagree. Code. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what code switching is, that's talking white. When they articulate certain words and I don't revert back to my native tongue. So what some people call talking ghetto, the opposite of that, what the rest of, I guess, white America, and I have to keep doing that, speaks in, except people from the Midwest because fuck them.
And I call myself your life applications officer because a while back, a minister, my pastor, who died, he was my pastor at the time, people in his church randomly agreed that God was giving me wisdom to preach his word from a different angle, but they told me you must get into your word, you must study, so that the Holy Spirit can do its work.
So, okay, I keep hearing, now I don't know about y'all, I've heard so many Christians tell me that they have a gift. They have the gift of discernment, the gift of sight, the gift of knowledge or whatever. I don't know how that's any different than collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards and claiming that you have the power bestowed upon you by the heart of the cards. But that's fine. If you want to believe that, then that's on you. I would love to see a demonstration of that at some point. Because you're saying that this separates you from the rest of everybody else. So there's everybody else, and then there's people with magical powers. I would love the people with magical powers to demonstrate said magical powers. So if it's unperceptive, there's a perception issue between people who don't possess the magical powers, then I'll find someone who purports to have magical powers to discern whether or not you have magical powers. But how do we know that's not bullshit? I'm curious. I am genuinely curious because I want to grant myself some magical fucking powers. But hey, so you have supposedly the gift of reading the scripture from a different angle. My God, is it possible that you just have different life experiences and read the same book as somebody else and came to a slightly different conclusion? Maybe it's something as mundane as that. And then all of a sudden it's special to people who ain't lived outside of their state in 40 fucking years. Maybe that's just it. I'm just spitballing here, but maybe folks who ain't been nowhere and done nothing talk to somebody else who's not in their inner circle all the goddamn time, and they read into the text a little bit different, and encourage you to then go, I don't know, how about you learn the Greek and Aramaic? Learn the Greek and Aramaic. Learn the different nuances around this word, that word, or I should say this phrase or that phrase. Maybe, let's get into hermeneutics. Let's get into a proper way to exegete the text. Sure, as a Christian, you should want to do that. People shouldn't have to randomly come together we determined that you have magical powers. Oh man, I didn't know you could elect someone or collectively decide someone has magical powers. That's cool. That sounds like I'm about to say cult. A group of people I want to be around. Really? Come on.
In you through the wisdom and the gift that he's given you. So my problem is between getting a divorce and the problems I have with my kids coming up and going from job to job to job house to house, moving from one neighborhood to the other and all like that, going through all these different loopholes. I haven't really sat down and begun to really go on the journey that I really am going on. But after my prayers yesterday, I today begin my journey. And it is a journey where you ain't gonna argue with me, okay? Believe that. Like Martin Lawrence, believe that, okay? You ain't gonna argue with me, okay? And you do not need that anyone teach you. This guy wants to throw his college degree with me. Throw it at somebody that's an atheist, buddy. I'm not an atheist. You can take your college degree and explain, atheist theology to an atheist. But see,
atheist. What is atheist theology? Did I say that my degree was in the degree that I'm attaining right now is in theology? Did I say religious studies? I don't believe I said anything even close to that. And you aren't the only one who watches Barton, but okay. Maybe you know, I don't know. It's so confused. Like, it's just, does he watch the same videos that everyone else is watching? Because I feel as though he's talking about somebody else. I don't feel like he's talking to me.
So he has a degree too. And I have a whole list of books right there. I meant to show them at the beginning of the video. This guy said I got no knowledge. I never went to college, and I did go to college, okay? And I never studied anything. Every book in that library, I read at least half of it before I even put it in that library. Everything from college books, all the way to religious books, to Bible translations, books about love and romance, and you name it. I got it all in there, okay?
So romance novels and theology. Man, let me tell you, you're a one learned motherfucker. Oh, man, I can't compare. Man, there's books I haven't finished, too. There's this one here, Gödel Bach, and the person who got me this book is watching. I need to finish reading this. I mean, it's a pretty good book, according to worldwide reviews. But so what? Like, the big book of atheists is on a post-it note. Yeah, like, I don't get it, dude. Like, no one's posturing here. No one's that. Again, when I mention that, I mention the fact that you don't seek knowledge in the topics that you try to speak on. Again, if you are going to try and quote me, at least keep it in the context in which I've said it. But you take these weird cliff notes of what I'm saying and you throw it in with something else that you think, and you're trying to superimpose your ignorance upon things that I'm saying. Again, let me correct you for the fifth, sixth, seventh time. My issue with you, Mr. Cruz, let me say this very explicitly, because you seem to have a really hard time understanding this. Maybe you're going senile. My issue with you, Mr. Cruz, is that you are wholly ignorant. You are fractally wrong on topics. You don't know what you're saying. You get excited about YouTube videos, and you won't take the time to get outside your comfort zone and actually educate yourself. That is the point that I was making, Mr. Cruz. Let me make that abundantly clear to you. It's not about going to take a college course. How about one of them books actually explain to you, have something that can act as a compendium of the current science behind sexual identity and sexual expression, sexual orientation. Something by people who are experts in the field. It's cool that you have books on theology. Awesome. How about you have books on the stuff that you like to talk about here on the interwebs? That's the point that I was making, Mr. Cruz. That's the point. Because evidently I have to dedicate an entire section just to kind of drill that point down, because me responding to the random tangents that you go on is confusing you. Maybe that's too hard. Maybe that's too much for you to take in at one time, and you can't write that fast. Maybe you need to slow me down and take notes so you understand what I'm saying. Or you could go back to the original videos and hear the context in which I stated these things the first time. Because it doesn't look good upon you, even in this video, that you've actually comprehended what's being said. My goodness. It's almost painful how wrong you get some of these topics. And something as simple as my position on them. It's not anything crazy. They're fairly mundane topics. They're fairly innocuous statements. But you manage to mangle them to some unknown extent, to which I have no idea what you actually understand at this point. It's amazing.
That's just laughable, dude. That's just laughable. But the anointing which you have received from him abides in you. I got to go. And you do not need that anyone teach you, but as the same anointing teaches you concerning all things, and is true, and is not a lie. All these atheists trying to say that we're lying and lying and lying about everything, it is not a lie. And just as it has taught you, you will abide in him. Okay? Just as it has taught you, you will abide in him. Okay? And in closing, and we know that the Son of God has come and has given us an understanding. The understanding that I have about life comes from that scripture, based upon the fact that God has redeemed me. He's bought me with price. He's cleaned me up. I used to be all those things, but now the fruit of the Spirit lives in my life. I'm sorry that the understanding that I have is not the same understanding of an atheist, but the understanding I have is the understanding of those that have been redeemed. I'm sorry. That we may know him. That we may know him. This is how we find evidence for God. That we may know him who is true. And we are in him. I know that there's evidence of God because I'm in him and he is in me.
Oh, I'm sure he's in
you.
you.
We are in him who is true. And we really, really, really believe this with all of our heart. And in his Son, Jesus Christ. This is the true God and eternal life. May God add a blessing to the reading of his word. Saints of the living God, don't pressure yourself. Be still and know that he is God. Let the love of Jesus come through you at the time when it should come through you the most. But don't let people sidetrack you. And then you end up like I did, saying things that you didn't mean to say because you're creating an apology or creating a format or a platform as you go along. You're making this up as you go along because you did not pray about this. You did not really read the fine print before you jumped in there. And now here you are on YouTube as a victim of somebody's fun and games. But like I told the guy, you can record every single video I ever do if you want to. If I think you were trying to just hurt me or trying to try to see tears come out of my eyes or whatever, I just won't watch the video. That way I won't see any tears come out. That way you won't see no tears come out of my eyes. Neither will I respond to your videos because my position is Jesus Christ and the gospel, sharing it with the world, the same gospel that set me free, that made me decide that I need to tell people the truth, that they are living in an artificial brain and in an artificial world, that God has better for them. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Like Joe Osteen said, and I'm not any fan of Joe Osteen, but the nicest way you could put it is that the LGBTQ community is not God's best. Actually, Joe Osteen, it's not even God's minimum.
So I find it interesting, while he loves to bring up facts from here in Houston, the fact that the prosperity preacher that he's referencing here couldn't have been bothered to open up his church for people who had been flooded and near drowned, because you know what, fuck those filthy people. If they're not coming with their pockets open, then why let them in my compound? So if y'all didn't know about that, yeah, Joe Osteen had to be pressured into letting people into his mega church during Hurricane Harvey. So I find it interesting that this is someone he looks up to, but I'm literally not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. He'll look into the background of people that draws his ire, but when Joel Osteen does some shit like that, that somehow misses the radar. But, hey, whatever helps him sleep at night, right? Fuck the people who lost their homes, people who lost family members, property, whatever. Because Joel Osteen didn't want to be Houston strong, as it's referred to here, helping your neighbor, that good old Southern comfort. Southern hospitality, excuse me. I'm thinking about alcohol. But, again, that lets you know a lot about Mr. Cruz here and the type of person he is.
Read your Bible, okay? Because he called it an abomination. So, I love all those that want to really, really want an answer. They really want to change. They want things to happen in their lives. But
so weren't you chastising me, Mr. Cruz, on spending time on the internet? Don't you got somewhere to go? This is the second time you looked at your watch that I've noticed. And you said earlier that you needed to go catch this bus, so you're prioritizing talking on the internet and not going to job, going to your work, going to catch this bus. Yeah, this is at 1.5 times speed, by the way. That's interesting, Mr. Cruz. So, again, this is another example where you don't live the things that you speak about. Maybe you should try that sometime. There's no magical spell that I have on anybody. It's just I point out your insecurities because they're obvious to me. If that's a magical power, then I'll cop to it. But it's I think it's obvious to most people. I don't think there's anything special about me.
As much as I love you, I will not be a victim. Neither will I let you embarrass me to myself, maybe to others, but not to myself. Of my stance in the Lord. So God bless you. I got to go to work. It's nice knowing you, and stay tuned for more. Okay? God bless.
Okay, well, that was interesting. So yeah, this was like part 2 of the like y'all remember the other video he did, the last one, where this part 3, leave in peace Dragnauct something or other, I don't know, I forgot what he called it, but this is like part 2 of that, because he's already said that he was done. He's done referencing me and mentioning me, but evidently he's not. So at this point, there's only something that I can offer Mr. Cruz, and it's something that I gotten recently, but I think he's going to need it more than me. And if he wants to discreetly send me a P.O. box that I can send this to, then maybe he can put it to use, because obviously I don't need this. He does. Yeah, Drag and I part ways in peace. Yeah, so this is part 2 of that. So, Mr. Cruz, maybe you can let me know where to send this, because obviously you need this more than I do. I think that it's apparent to me and everyone else who's watching this video, this part 2 video, that there's something going on and you need a bit of assistance so that you can help process what's going on in life on the internet, because my God, that was terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. So let me know. I won't share with anybody else, but I think this might do you some good. I really do think this might do you some good. Yeah, Cardo said on the internet, this is the last time. Yeah, I just, why not say, you know what, I'm going to take a break from responding to Dragnauct. I'll go respond to some of his stuff or something. I don't know, but he's going to respond again. Just stop. Just quit saying that. Just say, you know what, I'm not going to respond to your response videos, Drag. I'd rather talk to you one-on-one. Then that's fine. I will make time for you to do that. But this is just pathetic. Were you writing a song? Why you tear out the? Oh, that's not the song. Oh, I'm about to say, why you? Okay, but my God, I got a half-used bottle here too, man. If you want some, but just this whole victim mentality, I don't get. Maybe I'm just cut from a different piece of cloth than some of these cats. I don't know. I have to wonder, because then I hear folks like Twan kind of go the exact opposite way, where he's tougher than everyone. Like, he's the only tough motherfucker on the internet, and I'm just like, I'm reminded of Grand Ultimate's video where he said, I don't know, so dude's named Twan. I don't know, it's always something about him. And so I was like, yeah, man, yeah. But I don't know. Like, it's either you're a super victim or like you're a tyrant. Like, I don't know what it is, or you're just untouchable. And I was like, why? Like, why even come on here and do that? Like, I don't take this shit too seriously. It's people talking. Like, we can have serious conversation. We can have, if y'all want to send some better lube, I'm going to use it, and I won't tell you where. But, like, come on. Here's my thing. I don't have any type of magical power over anybody at all. People have remarked on the fact that I can predict people's responses. That's just for me watching people for years and learning their habits. That's literally it. There's nothing special about that. I actually had a conversation where I explained to people how I do that. I knew that he was going to do this. He's going to respond again, but most of you know that. That's how this stuff works. I can read people's insecurities for some reason a lot better than I can read their good intentions. Thank you, Cable Eastwood, for the $5. That's going to buy more lube. But my God, like, it's just, you can tell that he was, and you know, a part of me wants to take a step back and go, you know what? I did go in on him. I went in on him for a little bit because he wants to get personal. He wants to dig into other people's lives. Bad Dragon, come lube or get the fuck out. That costs a lot of money, man. CVS like sells this shit for like $5. But it's like it now got me talking about lube. But here's my thing. If you want, and I have to give him credit. This is Ozzy's dictum. We all get the conversations we deserve. And I think it's true. I think it's absolutely true. We all get the conversations we deserve. If you don't want a personal back and forth, you just want to keep everything kind of above board, then fine. I am perfectly capable of doing that. But when you get dirty, you're trying to get into people's personal lives, you're trying to cast aspersions on huge groups of people and how they do their in the bedroom and get really personal like that, don't expect people to hold back on you. And then all of a sudden you cry that you're a fucking victim. I don't get that, because people have different reactions to that. This guy gets mad because I go, well, you know what? It's weird that you bring up your daughter and you have very similar upbringings, and the only reason you're not gay is because you had an intervention from an adult. That's interesting. Yeah. But, and on the opposite end, you have him then becoming a victim because someone points out how gay that shit sounds and how like just weird that comes off. But then you have like Twan on the opposite end where he mentions something that's pretty inflammatory, but he's a Christian, he's all this, that, and the other, and then nobody say anything about this 1% of me in person. They won't say nothing like that. Come on, you are not the toughest nigga in the world. Shut up. If you were actually tough, you could go put on a uniform and go do something with that. I'm not impressed by either one. Neither one of you motherfuckers impressed me at all. I know you don't live to impress me. I don't live to impress me. But if you want to actually convince people that you're legit saying that, have something to show for it. Don't come on here getting upset because you engaged in a conversation and got upset because you watched a YouTube video, you decided to respond a certain way, and you then realized that you are out of your league and you can't control yourself. On the other hand, our good friend Twan, don't be surprised when you know that you're outmatched in the conversation, and then your first reflex is to say that people aren't going to show up or say these things to you in person. Like, come on. Like, that's bitch shit. Both of those are bitch shit to me. Because it doesn't need to go there. You don't need to be a victim, and you don't need to sound like some fucking, wannabe tough guy, because that's wannabe tough guy shit, by the way. Just in case you didn't know that, Twan. That's wannabe tough guy stuff. Some of us actually have done things in real life that we've already shown that we're tough guys. But the same thing to Mr. Cruz. People have legit been victimized by things like natural disasters, like, I don't know, rape. Like, there's actual stuff that have happened to folks. And neither of you guys fit those molds. So quit fronting. Just stop it. Stop it. Twan tried to meet me in person. Nathan Films, what are you talking about? He tried to meet you in person. Is that a double entendre or something like that? What are you talking about? Why are y'all talking about lube in the chat now? Why? What? Really? Are y'all really talking about lube? Are y'all really sitting here talking? I'm over here discussing this faux martyrdom and how people pretend to be stuff that they're not on the internet, and y'all are over here in the chat talking about lubricant? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are y'all really talking about lube? Really? I'm kind of not surprised y'all talking about lube, but lube and lube associated accessories. the Hank Hill of lube. I said he wasn't real, and he said he wanted to meet me face to face. He said he was known in Dallas. He was known in Dallas. Known by who? Like, that's the kind of bullshit that I'm trying to actually plan a trip up to Dallas, believe it or not, to go meet Arn. Known. Okay, I'm known here by the Board of Regents and the, school system. And being known by somebody isn't like that. That's such a weird posture to me. Well, it's a weird flex, bro. I'm known. What? Because you lack self-control? Because you don't have good home training? Because you don't actually strive to be anything more than known as a street tough? Like, that's interesting. Like, I'm speculating. I have no idea what that means. Being known in an industry as someone who's a trendsetter for whatever that industry is way different than being known amongst people who don't do shit with their life. Again, because I have to draw these distinctions for people, because evidently it's not apparent from what I'm talking about. But I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm explaining why men should value quality. Okay, Tyler. All right. I'm gonna leave it there with you. My God. I'm sure Tommy Hall's known in the Dallas Fort Worth area too. Maybe for different reasons. Love you, Tommy. I love you. Love you, Tommy. Why y'all love sending me messages when I'm live? Why is that? Why? Why y'all love sending me messages? What? Getting all these fucking messages. What? God damn it. Did he upload something else? Oh no, that's the link to his thing. Okay. All right. I'm trying to make sure I give folks shout outs and whatnot. All right, you know what, Allie Fox, I'm going to share that. That's actually funny. Hold on. That's actually funny. That's a terrible Photoshop. That's an awful Photoshop. Let me see. That is a terrible Photoshop, but we're going to do it. Jesus. Let me blow that up. All right, here you go. So, yeah, this is from Allie Fox. He made this. So this is Cruz in Oblivious. So, yeah, that was done in a minute. Okay, I'll cut you some slack. I will definitely cut you some slack since that was done on the fly. That's pretty funny. I need someone like to do one of Kyle on Suge Knight's body, because I'm repping Suge Kyle, and that's I will always refer to him now as Suge Kyle. But yeah. Anyway, folks, I think that's it. I know I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure. I know he's gonna respond to this. He's not gonna mention my name, but he'll respond because he needs to say what he needs to say, which is fine. You know, it's people take themselves too seriously. People should do photoshops of me. I actually enjoyed Suge Knight. You're Australian and Chinese, so you probably really don't get it. Look, put in that person, and then look up what his practices are in the music industry and dealing with artists and contracts, and you'll get the relation. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go molest the wife and kick the dog, and that I don't have. And there was something else I wanted to say. Tomorrow we will be celebrating Acetal's entrance into Houston as a new resident. That actually has a double meaning, because he's also a medical resident. As a new resident, and he will. I guess you guys will get to see his induction into the being a dragoon, because everyone who meets me has to go through the new ritual started by Pew and Captain Osimo and Kevin and others, by getting the Dragnauct death grip the G-Man crumbled from, because he's a bitch. So yeah, you'll get to see that. It is Pret, my little brother's birthday today, so we will be taking him out for drinks. So there'll be a lot of us here. Other than that, folks, y'all have a good ass day.